Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me today. Walter here at the workbench with freehand sharpening, the old way, the way I was taught. No jigs, no rulers, no tips, tricks, or techniques. So let's get the old shop apron on. I hope you're having a good day. Still cold here. Looks like next week, in the next 7 days, we're supposed to have a little bit of a warm up and then some rain. Maybe the ice will go away. Now, what I'm about to explain to you, I know to be at least 100 years old. It could be older than that because I learned this from my master more than 50 years ago, and he learned it from his master probably 50 years prior to that, and so on and so on. The only thing that changed could be the steels, could be the type of sharpening stone, but the principle remains the same for, I know, at least 100 years. So I've got the water stone soaking. I'm going to start with the 1000 grit. And we'll take my flattening stone, diamond. See, they wouldn't have had diamond. They would have had a coarser stone. And another technique, I could avoid having to use the diamond by taking the next finer stone and putting it on top to create the slurry and to partially flatten. I have seen this done many a time where you take one stone to flatten the other one. So we'll just set that back in the water. And what I have here is my ECE blade out of the gents plane, which was given to me about 40 years ago. And it is, for the most part, flat. I'm not sure if I used the ruler technique on this once or if I used what I'm about to show you. So, you take your blade, you put it flat on your stone, and you work it around. And then you check it and see how flat you are. So I'm getting a little bit of polish here and up to the front. So I'm not going to go crazy with this. I'm not going to drop back down to the 220. I'm going to work this just a little bit more on the 1,000. All right, we'll stop there. Now, what I was taught to do next before going on to the next stone was to do the bevel. Now, it didn't matter how you established bevel. For most of us, when we learned, we either learned in a school shop or we learned from a master in a workshop. Almost always, there was going to be some form of bench grinder. So you would grind your 25-degree primary. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to come in here, go heel, toe. Okay, that's the way I was taught. And we go in circular motion, moving your body back and forth, using as much of the stone as you can. Until you get that burr on the back. If you want to go more forward and back, you can do that. If you want to turn a little more sideways, you can do that. The goal is to eliminate the edge from the previous sharpening. So we're more dull now than we were. And I've got that burr. We hit it on the back one more time. And I am done with this stone. So now you would go up to the next finer stone. Whatever you had in the shop, that's what you'd be using. We'll hit the back first. Keeping it flat on the stone. And now we would do the bevel, heel, toe, lock in your wrist. You can use the figure-of-8 pattern if you want, but you want to utilize all of your stone. Check progress, feel for a burr. Now mind you, I'm not changing angles, I'm using the same angle, heel to toe. We hit the back again. And that's it on that. I'm going to flip this over. We're going to go to the finest stone. I am going to create a slurry with my diamond plate. here again, we work the back. You can see by the blackness the metal that's coming off. And mind you, in a workday scenario, I wouldn't be taking all of this time. I'd be just doing it and getting it done. Now, this is the last two steps that make this process different than anything else. Well, one step. Once you are confident, you've got your back flat, and you've established a heel, toe scenario. Now, on the last stroke or so, you just lift up ever so slightly. Okay? That would be equivalent to the secondary bevel or the tertiary bevel. Now, you take it off the stone, you bring it back, you stick your small fingers under the back of the blade, and you lift the blade ever so slightly while you're pulling it back. That's it. I just took the burr off. And that's sharp. That's done. So, let's get it into plane and see how well it performs without any stropping, without any further polishing. So that would be your coarse, your medium, your fine, your super fine stone, whatever it is you have, and this is what you end up with. Can you see it? There you go. Wipe off any water, any grit, any contamination off your hands. We'll get some oil on that later. This plane needs some love. Needs a little bit of glue here and there. It's okay. We love it. This is a bevel down plane. Put your blade in till it touches the wood in the center of the plane. Drop your wedge in and then pull the blade back up to set the wedge. Pull the blade back up and bring it down till it's just barely touching the wood. Set the wedge. No difference on this plane than any other. You want to set the lateral. Really close. It should take a pretty heavy shaving. Well, that's not too bad. First try. So that's it, everybody. That's how I was taught. No jigs, no gadgets, no ruler, nothing. If I needed this to be sharper, I could actually take it to a flat piece of wood with a little honing compound on it. Any questions? Basically, the only two things that I was taught that carry over into the new modern techniques are on the final hone, on the bevel, you lift up just a little bit as you're pulling that last stroke off. That's it, one stroke. Then you flip it over on the flat. On that last stroke, you pull it back and you lift up as you're coming off the stone. That's it. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you found something useful, helpful, nothing entertaining, but it doesn't matter what you're sharpening on. Sandpaper, a brick, don't care. Diamond plates, float glass with diamond paste, don't care. The process of freehand sharpening is always the same. After a number of freehand sharpenings, you will have to go back to a bench grinder or to a coarse plate to reestablish primary. So that's about it. Can't get too much better than that. For a single blade, wood-bodied hand plane with a wide open mouth. Like, subscribe, and share. Head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out. Keep it sharp.